So what happens in the past life regression session? So here's where the fun happens. So when you arrive, we'll take a few minutes, we'll get to know each other, talk a little bit about your expectations, your thoughts, your experiences, what you know of reincarnation, what you're hoping to get out of the session. We'll kind of get the lay of the land to figure out what questions we want to ask and what we want to explore, where you want to go, in a kind of a vague general term, because I generally don't set. I go to the lifetime that's most relevant to the lifetime you're living. So we don't say, let's go to the lifetime in 1492. It may have nothing to do with the lifetime you're living and can be completely irrelevant. So we'll go to the one where we can glean some wisdom and insight. And then we get down to the fun part. We'll hop up on either the massage table or a zero gravity chair, depending on the location. And it'll feel very much like a meditation. We'll start with stilling the body with some progressive relaxation. We'll still the breath, we'll slow the mind, and then we'll slide on into more of a hypnotic depth. And everything will be recorded, so you don't have to worry about remembering anything. I'll ask all kinds of questions. We'll get to 3 or 4 different events that were important and relevant in that lifetime. We'll go through all of the importance, we'll meet the people, we'll understand the setting and the place, and then we'll move on forward to the death scene. We'll figure out who was there, what happened. A lot of people worry about that. If it's an uncomfortable lifetime or an uncomfortable death, we'll watch it from a third-party perspective, so you're not experiencing that. That's not necessary usually. Most people find the death to be very much an exhale, to be surprisingly comfortable, and no matter what it's from, there's that leaving the body feeling, and it's really a neat experience. And then we'll go into that space between lives. We'll talk to your higher self or your spirit guides or the divine, however you perceive it. We'll ask lots of questions there. We'll get all kinds of insight and wisdom, and we'll go through that process, which is really fascinating. If there's issues we're working on with forgiveness or things that came up that we need to settle, we can work on it from that perspective in there. And then we'll bring you back up, come out of the hypnotic state slowly and gently, and try and reorient, land back in this time and this place and back on the table. And from there, I'll give you a minute or 2 or 10 to really write down your first impressions, what you felt, what you thought, your experience. Like I said, is all recorded, but your first experiences are what are most important to get in writing before we start talking. And afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about the experience. I'll try not to give you my interpretation of your experience because I want it to be totally yours. So we'll talk a little bit, we'll work it through anything that a lot of times there's some grounding or some information we need to work on to set and organize and land. And we'll get that all taken care of. And then we'll just kind of settle and just come back to some kind of quiet time, some talk. And then I'll let you go once you're all set. I've got everything you want out of the session.